finally, my favorite part of the day. Wait. Don't you know that caffeine can cause anxiety and puts huge stress on your adrenals? Bullshit. Coffee provides antioxidants and therefore is really healthy. But did you know that caffeine can stay up to 12 hours in your system? Man, but it boosts your productivity and makes you feel so much better, so go for it. Is coffee now good or bad? Should you quit caffeine, or can you use coffee to increase your performance at work, in sports, or just simply your overall health? Let's talk about coffee today. Welcome to this video. My name is Marvin. I'm a health and performance coach for highly performing individuals such as top 1% entrepreneurs. And in today's video, I would like to talk about caffeine and the different benefits, but also the dangers of caffeine. So therefore, it's, I guess, really important to know what caffeine actually does. Coffee and caffeine increases cortisol, our so-called stress hormone. Not just cortisol, but also adrenaline and noradrenaline. And this is also the impact, the effect that we feel a little bit more alert and sometimes more awake. Caffeine also blocks the so-called adenosine receptors, which is actually making us feel tired, making us fall asleep. So that means when you drink your coffee, you don't feel that tired anymore. What is also important to know that it takes a little bit time for the body to break down caffeine. Caffeine has a half-life duration about 4 to 6 hours, but it can be up to 8, sometimes 10 to 12 hours. This is highly individual, and that really depends on your body's ability to break down caffeine. There are some people who can drink an espresso or two in the evening and can fall asleep immediately. And there are also people like me, for example, when I drink a coffee or an espresso after 1 or 2 p.m., I have really problems falling asleep. And that's why caffeine can have several side effects, especially a decreased sleep quality. And that's due to the fact that caffeine has a long half-life duration. Let's take, for example, you would drink the coffee with around 120 milligrams of caffeine, and you drink it maybe after lunch at about 2 p.m. Now we can expect that at around 8 p.m., the half of the caffeine is still in the system. So in that case, 60 milligrams. 4 to 6 hours later, so at midnight or until 2 in the morning, you would still have 30 milligrams of caffeine in the system. And we also have to know that caffeine accumulates. That means when you drink coffee several times throughout the day and drink it every single day, the caffeine inside the body accumulates because there's also rest caffeine from the previous drinks in the previous coffee that you drank. And therefore, that's also really interesting. It can take up to several days, sometimes up to 1 week to clean up the entire body from caffeine. Also, I mentioned that the main effect from caffeine comes due to the fact that it increases different stress hormones. And this can lead also to stress-related side effects. For example, caffeine can cause also anxiety. Me personally, I experience more negative side effects on caffeine on really stressful days. So when I'm on a vacation and I'm pretty relaxed,
Can you say anything to your friend, Carl?
I want to say something, but I can drink more coffee without having these negative side effects compared to a day where I have really much stress going on. So just keep that in mind, that caffeine puts more stress on the body. You should be aware of that. Caffeine can also impact your brain and your ability to make decisions. And there's a really interesting experiment that they made, the NASA experiment. They took different spiders and put them on different stimulants. So they first looked at a normal spider without ingesting any stimulants and just had a look and observed how this spider developed their web. And then they compared the spider who, for example, consumed caffeine. They also tested with, I guess, LSD. So really interested how that looked in practical, a spider on LSD.
Nice big capture. He's looking at me.
But of course, I don't want to blame caffeine for everything because yes, caffeine can have potential benefit. For example, especially regular coffee is a deliverer of antioxidants. So yes, just drinking coffee compared to like caffeine pills or energy drinks, one thing I would definitely recommend to avoid energy drinks at any cost. So in my view, the best choice is green tea, coffee, or even matcha, also black tea when you like it. But to make that clear, to consume it in a so-called natural way, it's way better than compared to energy drinks or like you can say chemical waste. Another potential benefit is, of course, that it can boost and increase your work output and your focus. And because of this dopamine spike and because of this cortisol and adrenaline, noradrenaline output, yes, it can improve your productivity, it can improve your work output, and therefore you can use it before certain work blocks, or you can use it before workout. We've also seen in studies that the usage of caffeine, especially when ingested before endurance exercise, it can boost the endurance performance. And also, of course, because of the dopamine spike, it can also improve your strength and fitness training. So that's how you can use and cycle caffeine, to use it specifically in front of work blocks, in front of workouts, where you want to experience the most benefits out of the caffeine. So this is my personal caffeine protocol. I stick to 1 portion caffeine per day maximum, and I usually ingest about 80 to 160 milligram of caffeine. Why exactly that number? Because it's either one or a double espresso. And I also try to include minimum 1 caffeine-free day in order to give the body the time to clean up all of the caffeine, to break down all of the caffeine from the body. Better would be, of course, 2 to maybe 3 days per week, but that's at least minimum 1 day I try to avoid coffee and caffeine at all. And of course, there's one problem left. I am a really passionate coffee drinker. I love to drink coffee. For me, it's a ritual, and I also like the taste. And it's really hard for me just to not stick to the ritual. Therefore, I had to look for some coffee alternatives. Yes, there's decaffeinated coffee, but there's also a problem with decaffeinated coffee. First of all, it tastes terrible. I don't know why that is, but everyone reports that decaffeinated coffee they really don't like. And it's also important how the coffee is decaffeinated, because this can also cause some problem. It should be with a CO2 method. Otherwise, they will use certain chemicals that can really do damage to your health. And of course, the last thing is that decaffeinated coffee also contains a little bit of caffeine in it, so it's not 100% decaffeinated. And I found the best coffee alternative. To be honest, I'm not sponsored, I'm not an affiliate, I just fell in love with these products. It's called Ticino. It's herbal coffee. It's completely caffeine free, and it's made out of mainly chicory and also carob. So it's really pure organic. It contains a lot of potassium, which is also important for your energy levels and for your hydration. And from my experience, from my point of view, it tastes really good. So I have this ritual in the morning of drinking this Ticino, this caffeine-free herbal coffee. And this is what I can also recommend you to try. I put the link to the products down below. As I said, I'm not sponsored. I don't have any affiliation. So that's it for today's video. I hope you like it. If you have some questions related to caffeine or other terms and topics related to health and performance, then just hit it down in the comments below. That's it for today. See you soon.